Hello and welcome back to Bombchu. I'm Tyler and I have a different kind of video for you today. This is an overview of what was added to Xbox Game Pass in August 2021. If you have been following along with Video Game Club, you would have heard me tease about a special project that I've been working on. Well, this is it. So, what is the purpose of this video? Two things. One, inform you all of what games are available by giving a complete overview of the current month of games in Game Pass. And two, go a bit in depth on the games that stood out to us that are definitely worth your time. Since Game Pass has 3 different platforms associated with it, please look out for these symbols to show you all which platform the game has landed on: PC, console, or cloud. August was a big month with over 30 games, and we played every single one, so let's jump in and see what this month was all about. If you are a fan of racing games, man, this was a month for you. As you may already know, Codemasters was acquired by EA this year for $1.2 billion, and with that acquisition came several of their games to EA Play, which is bundled in Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass for PC. We got Grid, Dirt Rally 2.0, Dirt 4, Dirt 5, F1 2019, and F1 2020. If you are into almost any type of racing game, they got you covered. Now, sticking with the theme of racing, Need for Speed Heat also came to the Xbox Cloud, and if for some reason the rest of the Codemasters games weren't enough for you, you can always check that out. If you're looking for a very chill experience, I would recommend Art of Rally. Art of Rally is a very stylized racing game with a simplistic style, but a very good feel. Sticking with modes of transportation, Train Sim World 2 joined Game Pass, as well as Skate and Skate 3. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very excited for whatever Skate 4 ends up being, and even more excited now that we got news that it will be coming to PC. QuakeCon 2021 happened a couple weeks ago, and with that came Quake, Quake 2, and Quake 3 Arena, all to Game Pass. Quake isn't just the old Quake either. It got a full remaster with 2 new expansion packs from Machine Games, and even came to console. I never played Quake back in the day, but I did play it for this video, and I can confidently say that it still holds up. I would highly recommend checking out at least the remaster of the original, if nothing else. Speaking of old games, a reimagining of Myst was released to Game Pass as well. Myst is a classic game that several people love for its puzzles and overall adventure. This game has been released in some form on almost everything, even the 3DS, but if for some reason you haven't checked it out or want to revisit it, it's here for you. If you are looking for a more traditional puzzle game, Luminous Remastered was added this month. I wasn't super into it, but I'm also not a big puzzle fan. I was, however, really into Microsoft's Secret Weapon this month. Of course, I'm talking about Microsoft Solitaire Collection Premium Edition. If you have played the mobile version or the desktop version, this is the exact same, but without the annoying advertisements. I always am down for a good game of solitaire, so I was pretty hyped to see this, to be honest. There was another card game added to Game Pass as well. Well, maybe not exactly a card game, but it does have cards in it. It also has dice, visual novel sequences, and some pretty complex combat. Library of Ruina was added to Game Pass, and it comes off as a bit complicated at first, but if you're looking for a unique game, I would suggest checking it out. 2 Star Wars games were added to Cloud this month. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which, if you are curious about our takes on that, I would highly recommend checking out our Video Game Club episodes where we discuss in detail our thoughts on the game. The second Star Wars game was Battlefront 2. It's a really solid game, and I personally really enjoyed the campaign. I probably wouldn't want to play the multiplayer on Cloud, but I can see playing through the campaign as a really enjoyable experience. Staying on the theme of space, a Chucklefish-published RimWorld-like game called Starmancers came to Game Preview on Game Pass this month. It's not quite done yet, but felt pretty polished from what I played. If you're into RimWorld or Sims in general, I would recommend giving it a go. Boyfriend Dungeon is a dungeon crawler where you can date your weapons to level them up. Yep, you heard that right. The writing for this game is very solid, and overall, I have been having a good time with it. Don't sleep on Boyfriend Dungeon. On the topic of dungeons, Curse of the Dead Gods is a roguelike dungeon crawler that was heavily compared with Hades at launch. I can see the similarities, but after playing each of them, I feel they are quite different. Yes, they have a similar art style and are both roguelikes, but other than that, not much similarity. The really interesting mechanic in the game is that over time you can acquire a curse, which can really switch up your playing style mid-run. If you are a big 4X fan, Humankind came to Game Pass this month. This comes from the same studio that brought us Endless Space and Endless Legend. I'm not a huge fan of their games, but do recognize that they are really solid. This one wasn't for me, but I know Chris was really interested in it. If you generally agree with reviews Chris has done in the past on 4X games, this one might be for you. Now last, but certainly not least, before jumping into my personal highlights, 12 minutes. I remember people trying to break apart every trailer to understand what this game really is about. If you have been following this game on socials, then you know that it's a pretty divisive game right now. It's a point-and-click puzzle game with a very strong narrative focus. If that is something that interests you, definitely check it out, but be warned that some people aren't super thrilled about the ending. Phew, that was a lot of games, but we aren't done yet. It's time for Tyler's top picks. brought to you by me, Tyler. These are in no particular order, but are just games that really stood out to me that I think everyone should give a chance. Katamari Damacy Rerolled is a remaster of the OG Katamari Damacy game released originally on PlayStation 2. It's an extremely unique game where your goal is to roll around a large ball called a Katamari and collect enough items to satisfy the king of the cosmos. The gameplay can be quite addicting once you get used to the very unique controls. The main thing that stuck with me through this game is the soundtrack. It's so imaginative and catchy. Besides the soundtrack, the cutscenes and the story of this game are hilarious. Definitely one to check out if you have never played a Katamari game. I am a big fan of Super Dodgeball Advance. I never played the original, but I did play that specific port quite a bit, and when I heard that another dodgeball game was being created in a similar style, I was excited. Dodgeball Academia is a bit different from the inspirations, but it's familiar enough to feel like a spiritual successor of sorts. This sports RPG is great, and the dialogue had me cracking up. All the characters have really different personalities, which blend really well together. It's challenging and doesn't take itself too seriously. I'll definitely be playing more of this one. This game took me by surprise. I did not expect to really fall in love with this game. I didn't hear anything about it going in and was expecting it to be pretty meh, but I was wrong. This game is right up my alley. Recompile is a 3D Metroidvania where you're exploring a mainframe trying not to get deleted. This game features great music, amazing atmosphere, and fun puzzles. It's not an easy game, and the platforming sections can be quite difficult, but the vibe this game gives off is just great. This is exactly why I love Game Pass. I love discovering little gems like this that I normally would have never checked out. Highly recommend this to anyone who loves 3D platformers and puzzles with a hacking twist. I didn't play Psychonauts 1, and I don't really have a good reason why. Maybe it will be picked for Video Game Club in the future. But wow, this game is fun. It brings me back to the simpler time of 3D platformers, but upgraded for if they would have been released today. The worlds that you explore in this game are so creative, and the story is pretty solid so far. If you haven't played the first one, don't let that stop you from taking a dive into the sequel. I think you'll really enjoy this one if you reminisce about old school 3D platformers. When Hades came out, almost nobody played it, probably because it was on Epic Game Store. Once it made its way to Switch and Steam though, it's all I heard about, and the people weren't wrong. This game is good, like really good. The story, the art style, the gameplay, the music, the roguelike elements, how it all unfolds in front of you, the creative boss battles, the writing, the voice acting, all of it. This game is a masterpiece. It's the classic, just one more run, and next thing you know, the sun is coming up. Play this game. At least try it. I promise that you won't be disappointed. Well, that's it. That was an overview of Xbox Game Pass for August. Every single game that came to Game Pass in one way or another. I'm super excited to see what September brings us and how Game Pass evolves. It's been a really great service so far. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and please let us know how you like this video by leaving a comment. See you next month.